Okay, hi. I want to talk about a couple things with this project. I don't want to take longer than 5 minutes, so I'm just going to hit a couple highlights. One, if we are looking at this example here, I want you to pay specific attention to the fact that these modern translations do not need to be translated line for line. And that means a couple things. One, you should not go online and simply find a modern translation that already exists and use that for your own. You can use that if you don't understand what something's saying. That is a great idea, making sure that you actually understand what it is saying. But those translations don't take into account any kind of more modern references. I know Twilight isn't that modern, but you should actually be modernizing the script to the point where you're making modern references where Shakespeare is using figure of language that made sense for his time, things like that. Okay. Another thing that you should keep in mind is that if you have a longer act, you do not have to translate the entire thing. So maybe for Act 1, you skip over the prologue and you actually start down here. Maybe for the back and forth between Samson and Gregory, it's just a few lines back and forth. It's much shorter. So just because you got Acts 1, 2, or 3 doesn't mean you have to write more than the students that got Acts 4 and 5. You just have to be more careful with what you keep in your script and what you take out. Okay, so this is a longer document because those acts are longer. There will just be more gaps in your script, however, when you're putting it together. Make sure not to skip anything significant, more significant lines, more significant details, things like that, which is what it says here. But you do not have to do every single line. That would be a very time-consuming project if we did that. Make sure that you present things in an appropriate way. So there may be some jokes that you actually have to tame down from what Shakespeare was saying. Because if you use obscene language or obscene actions in this script, you will receive a failing grade, and there is a possibility of you receiving disciplinary actions. There were some students that were given a suspension based on this project last year. So I added this line to make people extra aware of this kind of stipulation. Anyway, hopefully that's enough about that. Everybody should contribute. If there is an issue going on in your group, let me know right away so we can address it. But everybody should be contributing to both the translation, and everybody must be in the presentation of the scene in the video. For your grade, these are all graded as equal sections, so you get 10 points for each of these sections. It's pretty straightforward. If you are showing that you understand the meaning in some, and you're using modern language to do so, you will get full points in this section. If some of the ways that you modernize it have inaccuracies in your meaning, then it's going to drop further and further down on this scale. If you show an understanding of the figure of language that Shakespeare uses and what certain terms might mean, you will get full points here. And as you make more and more mistakes, you go down here. These two sections are pretty closely aligned to one another. Note also here, you do have to be making your own figure of language. Do not just translate it in a literal way. If he's using figure of language, you should also be using figure of language to show that you understand the purpose of that. You do want to use props, costumes, and you want to think about how you'll actually film your scene so that you get full points here. But if you do that in a way that keeps the pacing and actually makes sense for the play, you will be solid on that. I do note what blocking is at the bottom. It's where people are actually positioned in the scene so that the audience can see what's going on, not that one person standing with their back to the camera the whole time or staying right in front of the camera. And then your script should match kind of how things are ordered, what kind of dramatic effects are going on, how Shakespeare creates suspense and tension in his play. So don't take out major events that are actually going to make the ordering difficult to follow or might take out some of the dramatic effect that Shakespeare is trying to accomplish. And that's it. If you have other questions on this, we will have more days to work on this, so please let me know. You can email me if you would like to, or see me later in the day, but otherwise I will see you tomorrow, and we can talk about any questions that you might have. And I said it would be under 5 minutes, so I will stop this now. Have a good day.